Hey everybody, and welcome back for another video. Where on today's video the sun is shining, wind is out, but the sun is shining and it's about 4 degrees Celsius out. So sweater weather, and I'm going to get out get some work done on the rabbit coop. I've done a little bit of work over the past while now, doing a few recipes while the weather was bad. So finally now the weather is good enough to get out, get at the rabbit coop and try to get some walls put up and insulation and vapor barrier, all that good stuff. So moving forward towards completing the rabbitry setup, getting some cages put in, and then really wanting to get to our breeding program on the rabbits. So this is another step in that direction. I do have some wire mesh for the cages on order, so that's holding me back a little bit. But getting these walls enclosed and insulated is definitely a big step that I need to get done, and get done ASAP, and have it done. And have it done. Lots of dones, right? Alright, so first thing I need to do is get the does brought back down out of the coop again. If you see my pressure washer video just recently, you saw me move those down and put it into the rabbit house. I'm going to be doing the exact same thing again, with one difference is Smokey, our little, what is he, like a Flemish giant New Zealand mix buck. He's currently in here in the rabbit house. So 3 of the 4 bays are currently occupied. So I'm going to do a little bit of shuffling around to get him probably out into the cat carrier and the 4 does with 2 in each bay, and have that done, have them squared away, and then I'll get my supplies brought out and get to work. So with all that said, I'm going to go up, get the does, move them down here, and then we'll be ready to move on up to the coop and start some work. We're up in the coop here now, as you can tell, and I'm going to get a couple of bunnies packaged up here, bring them down. Whatever ones seem to be the easiest, we'll see. The white ones are quick, I must say. One. And the other one knows I'm coming for it. Alright, that's the 2 white ones. I'll get them brought down into the garage now and put them in the rabbit house. Alright, so currently this last bay is available. There's already feed there. I'm missing 1 water bottle. I got 3. I never bought a 4th for this one yet. But I'll get one eventually. Get that dough in. And get this dough in as well. So when I come back, I say Smokey is in this one here. So I'm going to bring the other 2 does down and I'll swap him out into the carrier, and the girls will go in his coop for now. So let's go get the other 2 does. Alright, so back up in the coop again. Let's collect 2 more does. Alright, lemons here. 1. Come on, hot chocolate. Let's go, girly. There we are. Easy peasy. Alright, down to the garage we go. Let's get my pressure washer box here. I'm going to use that for Smokey for a second. Keep him from running away. On out, Smokey. I don't know if you guys remember Smokey. He's our buck that we're going to grow out, and he will pair up with the 2 white New Zealands. Put him down here for now. I'll get the doughs. Hot chocolate, big girl. And lemon. In you go. And then I'll take Smoky. And Smoky can go in the carrier. There we go. So I say a lot of things for these jobs is just a prep and getting things ready, and moving bunnies around is just a part of it today. So I'll lay Smoky aside, and with that done, let's get supplies together. Okay, I got my vapor barrier here. That's going to have to make its way up, along with insulation board and the fiberglass board, as well as table saw, a few other tools. So I'll get those all packed up now, and then we'll head back up to the coop. So like I was saying, most of this job comes down to the prep, and let's say moving everything out of here, getting all supplies on site. And I do have a little more prep to do, and that is releasing the hardware cloth off of the bottom boards here, because I do want my plywood, not my plywood, but my fiberglass sheathing. I want that to go all the way down and cover the 2x4s down at the bottom as well. I don't really want to have that gap if just trying to push it on over the mesh. For the sake of an extra bit of time of releasing it and then reattach it again afterwards, it should end up with a nicer result. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to go around, just start releasing the hardware cloth off of the bottom boards. Might be a little bit of a task. I did go pretty crazy with staples, so I got a pry bar and stuff. I'll probably just try to pop that off, and then I'll go back afterwards and start prying staples out of it. But that's it. You know, you don't always plan ahead for these things. This is evolving as it goes. So revisiting my past work and improving upon it, sometimes it just takes a little bit extra effort. So once I got that done, then I'm going to start measuring out. The fiberglass sheets are 4 feet in width. So I'm going to start measuring out 4 foot widths on the wall and add in any 2x4 nailing posts that I will need along the way for securing that onto the wall. but I'll get to that when we get there. For now, I'm just going to release the hardware cloth off the bottom skirting, and we'll go from there. All right. This is going to be probably the most tedious of all the tasks, but it needs to be done, in my mind at least. So I'll get going here now. Alright, so that took a little bit, you know, good bit of work to get that skirting removed there, but I just shut off the camera for the most part and just kept on going with it. Anyways, the screwdriver was pretty much the best tool, and then I went ahead afterwards and took out the smaller staples with the pliers. Anyways, aside from all that, the skirting is off. We're ready now to start framing up the walls. So what I'm going to do now is measure out some areas. Like for instance, this sheet of plywood right here is 4 feet, and it's attached right in the middle of that support, and it's attached in the middle of that 4x4 in the corner. So when I go to put a fiberglass sheet on this side, I got a nailing surface here, but I'm not coming all the way out to the end of this 4x4, so I'm going to need a 2x4 nailing post right here in the corner. All right, so that's pretty much what I'm talking about when I say I need some nailing posts. Same thing will happen here. I'm going to need a nailing edge here. Then I'm good 4 feet to this post, but this is more than 4 feet, and so on. So basically just going in 4-foot increments and making sure I do have a nailing post for putting the fiberglass board up against. So that's my next thing. I'll get to that. So come on out now to the skill saw. I'm going to be taking some 2x4s and ripping them in half because I don't need anything structural. What I need is a nailing surface. So half of a 2x4 butted up against these posts should be plenty, and that way I'll save on wood, save on money, and have some 2x4 left over for when we actually get to making some cages here. So, all right, we'll head on out to the skill saw, table saw, and get those ripped down now. Alright, so I've completed all my measurements and counting, and I think I'm going to need 7 additional supports for nailing onto. I just split 3 2x4s, so that'll be 6 of them, and maybe with the scraps of those I'll be able to put together the last one that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those now. I think 68.5 seems to be my common measurement in height between the top and bottom sills. So I'll go ahead, cut those, we'll come in, start attaching them and framing this in. Then we'll get the insulation, vapor barrier, and fiberglass sheathing. And that should be it. So hopefully it goes as easy as I just said it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do some cutting now. Alright, so at this point now I'm going to get this glued, and then I'll proceed to go outside, and I'm going to screw this on from the outside in. So that's the idea. So of course we got lots of Denkacon glue. So I'll get both sides, the one that's going to be up against the 4x4 as well as the one that's going to be against the plywood. Now, just in case you can't see it, these 2x4s have quite the bow in them. So I'm going to be screwing this on from the outside. Hopefully I don't miss. I'll find out now. So that's pretty much my process in a nutshell, is just get these up. Hopefully it's just this one 2x4 that had a really bad bow. I noticed when I was cutting it on the table saw that it was pushing against the blade and going really wonky on me. So hopefully this will be the only one, like I say. So I'll get this glued up, get it screwed on, then I'll just continue on, get this all framed up. In the interest of time, and like I say, you guys see what I'm doing. There's not much else to tell you here at this point. It's just fitting these in, gluing them, screwing them, getting it all framed in, and then we'll get to the fun stuff: the insulation, vapor barrier, fiberglass board, all that good stuff. Alright, so that's how this is going to go. I'm going to head outside, start screwing this on, and I'll bring you guys back when I got this all framed up. I got all the framing completed there now. Didn't take too much, just kind of slowly tweaked away at it. Anyways, it's done. So at this point in time, I'm ready for the insulation. So I'm going to head down to the garage, bring up some sheets of that. The wind has picked up a little bit outside, so hopefully it doesn't crack off in my arms on the way up. So I'll probably try to take 3 sheets or so at a time just for a bit of rigidity. But yeah, I'll see you right back here with some insulation, and we'll start filling up these cavities. Alright, so insulation's been brought inside and the framing is done, so it's time to start insulating. So I'm going to get a height measurement and I'm going to cut my insulation to that height, and that's about 69 and a quarter there, 69 and a quarter, 69. So 69 should be fine, and I'll cut across there and we'll get our first piece started.
And Dobby's also here too. The new chicken.
Yeah, Dobby, our new chicken's there. Alright, so the first piece looks good. So I'll get some PL put on that. And what I'm using for attaching is foam board LePage PL 300. And I'm not going to be too generous with this, just enough to hold it up there. So I'll get that put on now. And that went on nicely. So moving on now, I need a piece including the tongue, 17 inches including the tongue, and again 69 in height. So I'm just going to set you guys up. I'm just going to go along, measure this out, cut it out, get it put up, and hopefully it won't take too long to get all this covered in. Alright, so probably start a bit of music, have you guys putting along here with me, and we'll get this done. Alright, so the foam board is done. All the walls are insulated. So at this point now we're ready for vapor barrier. So that's exactly where I'm going to be beginning. Alright, so as you probably just saw me do, I measured out my vapor barrier in length and cut it. So now I'm going to start Acousti-Seal. So just the vapor barrier sealant. So I'll be doing that up along the upper 2x4s as well as the lower 2x4s. And then I'll go back, start sticking it on, and do it bit by bit. So I'm going to do the first wall first. Not going to get ahead of myself too much because this stuff gets messy real quick. So just as well to get started, right? Alright, that looks good for the first wall. Now I will begin putting up the vapor barrier. Alright, so the bottom, I'll need to trim that up there now, and that'll fit down behind the hardware mesh. And for the most part, I'm going to continue on the length of this wall here now, and we'll get this all buttoned up eventually. Alright, so I'm going to take the first bit that I got there now, start trimming that up, tucking it in, and just tidy that much up, and then I'll keep moving forward. Alright, so that finishes up the vapor barrier. We're on to the last step now, thankfully, and that is going to be the fiberglass boarding, but it's also going to be tricky. In particular, this side off to my right here is going to be tricky because of the beams going back and forth, support beams. And I'm going to want to cut in around those and trace those out. Not a big deal, but it's just an extra little step along the way. So with all that said, I need to make some cuts, do some measurements, do some cuts. The sheets that I have are 4x8, and we say this here is 6 feet tall. So I'm going to be cutting every board, but for the most part, we're ready to go. Not sure how this video is turning out. Hopefully I'm capturing enough to show you what I'm doing. You know, I'm on the probably 5 or 6 hour mark of working on this today. So I don't know what kind of video I'm going to have for you guys as far as lengthwise and what I've captured. It's hard because it's a bit windy outside, and so I got the camera in here in the coop with me a lot, but as you can tell, even with the camera way back against the wall, I can only show so much. So I'm trying my best to capture what I can for you. But I'm just going to measure the height of the rear wall and basically start with the fiberboard. I need it 4 feet wide from corner to the middle of this, and then I'm going to go from the middle of that to the other corner. So I'll get those measurements and we'll go outside, get those cuts done, and come in here and start putting stuff up. That's the best I can tell you. So come along, I'll bring you outside in the wind, probably play a bit of music while I make some cuts, and we'll get in here and get this job done because it's getting late. Alright, let's go. So if you couldn't tell already, this stuff is nasty to try and handle yourself while putting it on a table saw. But I'm getting through it. I might not have a back left when I'm done, but getting through it. Now, let's see if it fits. Alright, so honesty time. This stuff sucks to work with. Alright, it takes a while to get the screws to go through it. It's floppy. It's hard to cut with one person. If you got a couple of people, sure. But I do love the look of it. Alright, this looks great. Nice flat finish, easy to clean, same as the chicken coop floor and the rabbit house floor. It's it's a proven material to me. So anyways, I'm going to continue on with it. So I'm going to stop filming it here. You guys see me go through the hassle. I'm just going to keep muscling through this. I may bring you back part way through, but otherwise you'll know in between takes here that I'm just slaving away at this, trying to get it done before sunset. And my wife has to go to work tonight. I got bunnies down in the garage that need to come back up here. So I just need to plug away at this and hopefully get it done before evening gets too far along. I may end up running out of time, but tomorrow's supposed to be another nice day, so we'll see what happens. But either way, this is just taking a long time. It's footage that I would have cut out anyways. So by the magic of movie making, I'm going to skip you all ahead to the future, my future. See you there. Alright everybody, so as you can tell, me and the little lady are here in the dark. It's a bit brighter on camera than what it is in real life here, but we're past just about right at sunset. Finishing up the last piece, and the walls in here are done. Get a little bit of acoustic sealant. Hopefully the rabbits don't get their fur into it. But I just got to attach this the mesh onto the wall, and this much is done. But I guess it's going to be after dark when we're moving the doors back in here, and I can't really give you a good look around while it's so dark. So I'm not going to finish off this video quite yet. I'm going to come back out here tomorrow, give you a proper tour, show you how the walls turned out. But as for now, know that as of this evening, as of nightfall, this job will be done. Definitely some improvements that may happen yet. Probably a bit of trim in the corners, stuff like that. But otherwise, as far as the job goes for tonight, this is it. A few more screws and I'm done. So we'll see you in the morning for a little tour of the finished product. Hey everybody, and welcome back for day number 2 of the rabbit coop work. Not very often I do a multi-day video, but this is going to be one of them. So anyways, as you saw, me and the little lady finished off last night out in the coop putting up the fiberglass board. So I'm here today now to show you the results, and I think they're good. But I'll let you guys judge the quality of the work. But there's always room for improvement, as with anything. But we'll bring you inside the coop now and show you what's been done. Alright, moment of truth.
Our rabbits are in here, which is the good thing that they didn't escape.
Yeah, rabbits are in here. We brought them up last night, put them in the dark. But here is the finished walls. Mostly finished anyways. I think I'm still going to trim this out a bit. But the fiberglass board worked out great. The coop is looking very nice and bright inside. Sunlight's reflecting off the walls nicely. Like I say, it's hard to get a good view from inside the coop because it is limited in space. But if the bunnies will stay over in that corner, I will just temporarily open the door and I'll back out and see if I can get a little bit of a more wider angle for you guys to see. So I get the kiddos to watch the buns, make sure they don't head for the door.
Go in the box. Go in the box.
There we go, let's do some risky business.
Yeah, no, very risky. If you take that one, I'll take the other. No, too deep.
Oh, risky. Alright, here it is. There you go. Alright, so it's the finished product as you saw from the outside. Turned out great. One thing I did like in the end was the mesh down along the bottom edge. When I reattached that, I just used the fiberboard screws. So instead of the big bulky electrical staples and regular staples, this is held on nicely now with a lot better looking hardware. And the bunnies seem to be enjoying their nice new bright environment. Alright, there's the little lady, little man, and lots of little holes being dug here by the buns. So they've definitely been enjoying burrowing in the natural dirt environment in the colony setting. But all that's going to change soon once we get some cages put on this back wall, and we'll go from there. Alright, so there you have it. As far as this video goes and this project for now, until I come back and do some trim work, this will conclude getting the walls up. Everything's insulated, vapor barrier, fiberglass boarding on. I like it, 100%. So, next video now, I'm not sure what it'll be, to be honest. Numerous projects going on. I do have some cedar wood down in the garage that I may bring out and start doing some of the trim work, because I am waiting for the mesh for the cages. So that might be something to get done. Any task works. I do have to do a little bit of work on the compost pile and a couple other projects that are waiting in the wings. So we shall see what the next video brings. And of course, until that next video happens, hope you're happy, hope you're healthy, take care of each other, and peace out!